Guys, this is Steve Donahoe here right now, and I'm an owner of a Bichon Frise, and I'm having problems with certain things about the dog is over 5 years of age, and he tends to soil the whole area. Still, he likes to go inside and not go outside, and I've really tried a lot of things and that, and cannot actually find information in regards to it, but I was told about this trainpetdog.com, and to look at it, if you subscribe for free, they'll give you free information in certain things in regard to your dog. So when you actually start this actual program, it tells you what type of dog you have, and it asks you for the type of dog that you need to train, and also that there's an age between, if it's before a year old or over a year old, and it's a filter just to be able to figure out what you need to do and what you want your dog to be trained to do as well. So this is just a little presentation on training your dog that you might find helpful, and if you feel that this could benefit you in any way, I am going to put a link down the bottom in regards to this, and I'm buying the package myself to see if I can get this Bichon Frise Willie to do what he's meant to do. Okay, so we're going to just start this up. It tells you about the above presentation is the perfect way to learn the very best way to look after your Bichon. Now, again, this is, I did a search for my Bichon, but this would be actually for any type of dog. Okay, so just watch the entire presentation, and even though it's a Bichon Frise, it can be done for your dog as well.
"Oh my, you mean Abby?" said Holly. Abby was a loving Bichon Frise, but she had a few, shall we say, bad habits. You see, Abby was mischievous, and from about 6 months old, she was more than a handful. This was not exactly what Holly had in mind once the kids were all out of the house. She never once thought getting a dog would be more work than having a toddler. In fact, Holly thought being an empty nester was going to be a joy, since she had a dog to keep her company. But it wasn't. Abby was taking over her life. Not only did Abby use the living room floor as her own personal bathroom whenever she felt like it, she also wasn't making Holly very popular with the neighbors from all the barking. Not to mention Holly's husband was fed up with Abby. He complained like crazy when Abby had chewed up his favorite slippers, and at least once a week he had stepped in a doggy pile. Abby even growled and barked at his golf buddies when they came by the house. Soon he made Holly an ultimatum. Get that dog trained, or someone has to go. Either Abby or me. Despite the fact that Abby was making her life miserable at times, Holly could not bear the thought of losing Abby. She was lonely at home, and Abby was a loving companion. There had to be something she could do to turn Abby into the faithful, obedient Bichon Frise she had pictured when she brought her home. Then it got even worse for Holly. Just 2 weeks after the first animal control visit, Abby escaped through an open door. And this time it could have been tragic. You see, the next-door neighbor was getting her house painted, and Abby didn't like it one bit. So she stalked the painter like a lioness stalks a gazelle. The painter tried to shoo her away, but Abby lunged and bit him right in the hand, just as Holly arrived with a leash. The painter was angry, furious in fact. Despite Holly begging for forgiveness, the painter grabbed his cell phone and called animal control. "You've really done it this time, Abby," Holly said to her proud Bichon Frise as she brought her inside. An hour later, animal control arrived. The officer looked at Holly and shook his head. He was all set to take Abby in for quarantine. Holly begged the animal control officer, the same one that was there 2 weeks earlier. She asked if there was anything she could do to keep Abby out of doggy jail. But the animal control officer was concerned. 2 calls in 2 weeks. "Look," said the officer, "your Bichon Frise barks. She's aggressive, and excuse me for saying, but from the smell of your house, I'd say she's not housebroken. Have you ever tried to train her?" Holly grabbed a stack of dog training books. "Yes, I have. I've read all these books, but nothing ever seems to work with Abby." Just then, Holly noticed her neighbor Jim walking down the sidewalk. His dog Max walked faithfully at his side. Max walked right by the painter next door. No problem. Barely even a glance. Jim walked to her door, and Max sat down immediately and looked at Jim, awaiting his next order. "Here's some of your mail the postman accidentally put in my mailbox," he said. Then he glanced at the animal control officer and said, "Is everything okay here, Holly?" Holly was embarrassed, humiliated in fact, but she grabbed the mail and told Jim everything was fine. Jim commanded Max to come, and they walked away, Max's tail wagging like a happy, fulfilled dog. He dutifully walked at Jim's side. Holly stared at Jim and Max as they walked away. She was jealous of how well-behaved Max acted, and the animal control officer had noticed too. He gestured at Jim and Max as if to say, "Now that is a well-behaved dog." The animal control officer looked to the ground, then looked Holly straight in the eyes and said, "You know, Bichon Frises are different from most other dogs. Scolding and punishing doesn't work for Bichon Frises, and it can make it even harder to train them. They can also be easily housebroken, but popular house training methods often backfire with Bichon Frises." Obviously, the animal control officer knew his Bichon Frises, and what he said next took Holly completely off guard. He looked her square in the eyes and said, "Did you know that Bichon Frises have a distinct mental trigger that can be used to make them obey your every command, almost as if you had a specially made doggy remote control?" "You mean Bichon Frises are that different?" Holly was shocked. "I'm going to have to muzzle Abby now," the animal control officer announced. "Wait, give me one more chance," begged Holly. "In just a few minutes, I'll tell you the rest of the story. But first, I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered if Bichon Frises needed specific training and special care that was different from other breeds? Or are all dogs just dogs? The answer may just surprise you. Hi, I'm Nancy Richards, president of the Bichon Frise Training Institute. If you watch this entire video, which I promise won't be online for long, I'll do more than just tell you the end of the story. I will give you some interesting training tactics that you can start using with your Bichon Frise right away. Again, this video will not be up forever, so please watch it while you can. Now, maybe you're wondering about the Training Institute. Well, at the Bichon Frise Training Institute, we're dedicated to the welfare of these amazing dogs. We actively support grassroots activities for the proper breeding and care of this special breed. Not only that, we are also proud supporters of these important dog institutions you see below, and we actively campaign against animal exploitation around the globe. Bichon Frises are my passion, and yes, they really are different. Of course, all dogs are pack animals, but especially Bichon Frises. That also means they are extremely social animals, so it's vital to establish the leader-follower relationship starting right now. You see, all Bichon Frises will obey the alpha, or dominant member of the pack, and it's easy to become the alpha your Bichon Frise will look up to and respect. One thing you could do right now to establish yourself as leader is make sure when you leave the house, the car, or a room, make certain you are the first one out. Make your dog enter or exit behind you. This shows your dog you are the undeniable leader. Also, Bichon Frises are extremely intelligent, but they don't understand complex language. So use 1- or 2-word commands for obedience training, and make sure they are consistent. For instance, if you teach your dog that down means to lie down, don't use that command when you want it off the couch, or you want it to quit jumping up. And if your Bichon Frise soils your floor or carpet, clean up with non-ammonia-based cleaners. It could just be the cleaner you're using that actually keeps them from being housebroken. Bichon Frises have an especially good sense of smell, and ammonia smells like urine to them. Check your labels and see. One more thing. Did you know there are 9 distinct kinds of barking? Excitement barking, frustration barking, loneliness barking, alerting, guarding barks, territorial barking, fear barking, attention-related barking, and learned barking. Bichon Frises have very distinct body language and vocal patterns that will tell you exactly which type of barking they are doing. Are they quick barks? Your dog is excited, and you would be surprised. It may just be a sign your dog isn't getting enough exercise. Or if your dog is barking at something out of the window, it's an alerting type of bark. Of course, we want our dogs to alert us to potential danger, but sometimes Bichon Frises go overboard. It's just the way they're wired. One thing you can do is move in front of it. That shows your dog you are taking responsibility for what it sees as the threat. Pat it on the head and say, shh. When your dog settles down, say, it's okay, and call it to leave the room with you. There are over 273 more specific tricks, tips, and tactics that work with Bichon Frises. And that's exactly why we've put together our special Bichon Frise Lovers Training course. Over the last 8 years, we have researched new, innovative, and cutting-edge training methods specifically for Bichon Frises. In fact, more than 96,000 dog owners like you from all over the world have used our one-of-a-kind training course to train their dogs in just 15 to 20 minutes a day. Now you can too. Just take a look below at our Bichon Frise promise. As you can clearly see, we're serious when it comes to these amazing dogs. And we're extremely passionate about helping you get the best out of them. What makes this course different? Well, first of all, this course is made specifically for Bichon Frises. In the Bichon Frise Lovers Training course, we'll show you simple, effective training methods for housebreaking, controlling your dog's barking, stopping it from biting, obedience training, diet, health, and socializing your dog with people and other dogs. Not to mention much, much more. And the best part is, there's no violence, no hitting, no yelling. We don't believe in that at all. And you won't need it because we show you how to make your dog want to obey you. How can we do that? It's because Bichon Frises are actually hardwired to do as you say. Here's what I mean. It's an instinct for your Bichon Frise to obey you. It's just the way they are. They have a special mental trigger that drives almost all of their behavior. And when you tap into their hidden driving force, you are finally in control, and your Bichon Frise will crave it. Imagine your dog with no more humiliating accidents and a clean-smelling home. No more frustration from your neighbors over barking. No more nipping or biting. And a healthy, happy dog who can tune into its instinctual need for being social. After years of painstaking research and testing, our truly revolutionary Bichon Frise training course now means that any Bichon Frise owner can even go as far as becoming a Bichon Frise training professional. Of course, you don't have to, but it's that in-depth, and it's all laid out for you, step by step. In fact, our revolutionary Bichon Frise training course gives you not one, but 2 ways to train your dog. How does it work? Well, first, you can start the training by selecting from a list of your dog's most important problems to solve. Or, number 2, you can start from the beginning of our recommended training. No other dog training course gives you that choice. Why do we give it? Because we know more about Bichon Frise training than anyone else. And we know you may just have some immediate problems to solve because of the way they are wired. Let me show you just a few of the things you'll discover. A proprietary system we've developed that will help you train your dog to tell you when it needs to go outside, every time it needs to go potty. How to house train your dog even if it was adopted from a rescue shelter, or given to you from another owner that never housebroke it. Our 6-step method for making sure your dog doesn't leave presents on your carpet, or worse yet, destroy your home if you need to leave it alone for hours at a time. How to know exactly which of the 9 types of barking your dog is displaying, so you know precisely what your dog is saying and can employ the correct technique to train it to stop barking. 4 essential techniques for preventing your dog from barking at other dogs, people, or cars, so your walks will finally be enjoyable. 3 easy and effective tests you can perform to know what kind of hardwiring your dog was born with, and how to use the results to cut your training time in half. Secret techniques only known by top pro trainers that will make you a pack leader, so your dog is compelled to obey. In fact, it will become automatic for it to come when called. 5 vital steps to stopping food aggression. This is vital if you ever have children around. A simple method for making your dog so friendly it loves being pet by friends, family, guests, and kids. 4 steps to socialize and desensitize a new dog that seems to be afraid of everyone and everything. A secret chart we've produced that tells you exactly how much vitamins and minerals your pooch needs every day. The one food item your dog must be given to prevent cancer, heart disease, liver, and kidney disease. 2 common mistakes many dog owners make when playing with their dogs that encourage them to bite. Why your dog pulls on the leash when you take it out for a walk, and how to stop it once and for all. Plus, more step-by-step solutions for digging, chewing, snapping, diet, exercise, grooming, trick training, and much, much more. If your dog is showing any behaviors you want to change, we've got you covered. Because the Bichon Frise Lovers Training Course has over 162 training guides to show you how a world-class professional trainer would do it. It's worked for tens of thousands of others, and it will work for you too. In 15 to 20 minutes a day, right in your own home or yard, the park, anywhere you like. And that's not all. For a limited time, you'll also get free lifetime access to our exclusive private discussion forum. For Bichon Frise owners only. We're quite proud of this community of Bichon Frise owners from every corner of the planet. In this
Well, it looks like we're having little problems with the video here. It's going off and on. But anyway, that'll give you an idea of the Bichon Frise. It's a very, very hard dog to train. But with this training that they're proving, it's money back to say that they will be able to
you can
help
post
you
any question you have related to your dog. Our community of
and give you more incentive to keep your dog and stop it soiling around the house, which is my dog is doing, which I'm going to purchase this and see if it can actually help. If you're interested in this, I will put a link on it below, so you can go in and just find more information about your Bichon Frise. They're a beautiful dog, they really are. They need a lot of attention and they need a lot of direction. I've had him for over 5 years and I wouldn't get rid of him because of what he does, but it does get annoying and we need to try to change carpets and put down hardwood floors to stop him from soiling on the carpets and peeing on the carpets, and it becomes expensive. So just to buy an actual
Bichon Frise
course,
owners from around the world will be there to answer your questions within hours. Some
would be more beneficial for you and at a low cost to actually get a course instead of trying to change things in your house. Okay, so this is Steve Donahoe. I'm just going to put this information out. Again, I will put a link on my site where you can actually find out more information
times,
about
even
this.
minutes.
And I would ask
Not
you
only will you get quick answers to
go
questions,
through my
you
link.
can form
I do get commission for these things, and I don't hide that fact. And if it does help you, please let me know. Okay, thank you for your time. God bless.